Good morning, everyone. Don Gillis with Emerson. I'm in Portland, Oregon this morning. In a few hours, I'll be heading back to Ohio, back to Sydney. Just got done doing a 3-day teardown class for United Refrigeration. Had about 32 students. What I noticed this week when I got into the section of the HFO refrigerants, the natural refrigerants, basically global warming potential, and how that works, and started to explain it, there was a lot of engagement. So I thought I'd touch a little bit on that this morning for our Fun Fact Friday, okay? First of all, ozone depletion and global warming potential, two totally different things, okay? Ozone depletion is, when I think of ozone depletion, I think of the hole in the ozone, I think of skin cancer and chlorine in the refrigerants, and on, the silver lining there is we phased those out, and that hole is now almost completely closed. That's a good thing. The battle we're having now is the global warming potential, okay? The Kigali Amendment and those kind of things that we're talking about, amendment on the Montreal Protocol. I don't want to get into a bunch of big fancy words here, but in a nutshell, global warming potential just means that the Earth is getting a little warmer, okay? We know that the refrigerants we use stay in the atmosphere a little bit longer. It puts a bubble around the Earth, okay? That's what they refer to as the greenhouse effect. Think of the sun going through a windshield as the best analogy I've ever heard. The windows are all up in the car, sun's going through the windshield. The air in the car is getting a lot warmer than the air outside the car. That's kind of what that global warming potential or that high GWP refrigerants are doing. They're putting a bubble around the Earth. The sun is radiant, it's hitting the Earth, bouncing off, and it's getting trapped in that bubble. Now, the difference between low global warming potential refrigerants and high global warming potential refrigerants is the high global warming potential refrigerants stay in the atmosphere longer, okay? So, and I'm just throwing numbers out there. Instead of 5 weeks, we're talking 5 years, or 5 years, we're talking 15 years, okay? That's the difference. Most all refrigerants, the only one I can think of that's not that way is ammonia, but most all refrigerants, including CO2, has a global warming potential factor. In fact, CO2 has the number 1. On that note, all global warming potential refrigerants are based off of that number 1, CO2, okay? So if someone says 404A has a global warming potential of 3,900, it's a ratio to CO2, okay? Because CO2 is in the air. I think it's 0.04, if I'm not mistaken, percent parts per million, or somewhere thereabouts. And forgive me if I'm wrong about that, but it's fairly close. But it's all based off CO2, so it's a ratio. So in other words, 3,922 pounds of CO2 is the equivalent of 1 pound of 404A, okay? It's a 1 to 3,900, okay? It's a ratio, but CO2 is the starting point for everything. And basically, the easiest way I can explain it to you is we're talking about refrigerants that break up in 5 years as opposed to something that breaks up in 55 years. And I'm just making those numbers up, all right? So that's really what it's about, keeping the global warming potential down, breaking them up faster. Those double bonded molecules is what they are, breaking them up faster and relieving that heat out quicker, okay? Again, most all refrigerants have some global warming potential. The idea is to get that down. The other thing is we're talking about a phase down with HFCs, not a phase out, okay? The idea is by 2050 to have that down to 10%, according to the Kigali Amendment of what our use is now, okay? And everybody's at a different stage, okay? The U.S. and countries like Canada and what have you, we're kind of hopefully leading the way. Unfortunately, we broke off the Paris Accord or our section of it on the federal level. And now they're doing a state-by-state thing, but I won't get into that today. But global warming potential is just it's just how long the refrigerant stays in the atmosphere, if you will, causes that global warming potential. Think of a car, like I said, that's the best analogy I ever heard from another presenter that was giving something that I listened in on. So that's your Fun Fact Friday for today. Stay tuned on that. You'll be hearing way more about that with people that do that for a living every day of their life, that travel around. We have some good folks at Emerson, Jennifer Bush and several others. Andre Patton talk about it quite a bit. But that's your Fun Fact Friday for today. I'm Don Gillis with Emerson, signing off from Portland, Oregon. I want you to have a great day. If you're on call, be careful out there, okay? And and sorry about that. And have a great day, and be safe out there. Share the knowledge, and I will talk to you next week. Thanks a lot. Bye.